first up, we get you breaking details coming in from Sydney, where a mass shooting happened. This was at a Jewish party that was happening at the Bondi beach in Sydney in Australia. 10 people unfortunately were butchered at Sydney's Bondi beach. Bloodbath at Jewish Hanukkah party that happened. All of this was captured on camera when a bystander disarmed the shooter. It was even on camera that the attacker, who was armed, was on the prowl. Israel has slammed Australia over the massacre. Israel has said that Australia failed warnings. Israel even went on to say that it's intifada globalized, where mass shooting in iconic Sydney beach was witnessed. The shootout that happened at a Jewish meet where there were over 2,000 revelers. Let me cut across to Shivani Sharma, joining us live with more details of what has come out as far as who the shooters were, where they hailed from, how they went on to target the party, and why was any sort of intel ignored.
So, Aisha, the initial reports tell that there were two shooters who could be seen shooting on the people, the Jewish community specifically, who were there at that beach. They were celebrating a festival. It was the first day of the Hanukkah festival that happens to be an 8-day long Jewish festival. And right now the police out there and the multi-agency response has been drawn into action to save the lives of the people, the maximum lives that can be saved. Around 11 people are still injured. 10 have lost their lives, including one of the gunmen also, and one policeman has also been killed in this particular mass shooting incident that took place around 6:45 p.m. Australian time. And the Prime Minister Anthony Albanese, he says that he's not only shocked but distressed by the kind of shooting that has happened. The identification of the shooters is still going on. There are no official confirmations, though the Australian media has been reporting that one of these shooters has been identified as the citizen, as the one who was living in Australia and Sydney itself. But, you know, the details will be brought out very shortly, Suesha. But yes, this is a horrific incident, and especially this has been targeted on the Jewish community that had assembled on the Bondi beach for this religious festival, and around 2,000 people had gathered at the time when the shooting happened. And we are getting a lot of inputs. Some videos are also showing that one of these shooters was stopped by a bystander, by a man who was there, and the identification still goes on. People are being evacuated from there, and especially it was also seen that these shooters, they were not even sparing the elderlies and the women and the children. They were just shooting blindly wherever they could. So they were there with a plan, and a sinister plan, that they had to take as many lives as they could. So this was a targeted attack, and mass shooting took place on Bondi beach in Sydney, where the people had gathered specifically for a religious festival that happens to be a Jewish religious festival.
Right, Shivani, I request you to stay on with us as we want to come back to you for more information on this. Meanwhile, the pictures that have come in so far, and let's quickly give us viewers a sense of what really happened in those critical 10 minutes. Literally how eyewitnesses have described it, that it was bang bang. That's how it literally appeared, like there was random shooting that these two gunmen carried out. Now the details that have come in so far of how this was a Jewish party that had happened at the Bondi beach. Remember, Bondi beach is a very famous tourist destination in Sydney, and there you see how the gunmen were cornered. In fact, some reports that also suggest that one of the gunmen who has been shot down. Another video that India Today accessed, where one of the gunmen was actually taken down by a man who went on to overpower him and then snatched his gun. Powerful weapons that they were using, and 10 people unfortunately have lost their lives. Take a closer look at these pictures.
Fucking bash him!
Police come in, they are urging people to stay away from the area. A media officer is en route to the scene.
Fucking bash him!
For the moment, I also want to cut across to Amit Sarwal, who's joining us from Melbourne. Amit, if you have been able to speak to the local authorities in Sydney or even the cops, what really is the focus at the moment? People are scared, but in terms of nabbing down that gunman who is still being identified, what more are you picking up?
Yep. So there are two things going on at this stage. One is the identification of the gunman. Just wanted to correct you that 9 innocent civilians died and one was the gunman. So total count is 10. 6 or 8 people are in serious condition, including the other gunman. One of the gunmen has been identified as a local Naveed Akram. He is from Bondi, and the officials, I think, speaking on condition of anonymity to media such as ABC, have pointed out that his house is being raided by police like 20 minutes ago. The other thing that's going on in terms of security is that the Prime Minister
Le mec
has
est hyper courageux.
called senior ministers for the cabinet security committee meeting, which includes the immigration minister or the home affairs minister, Tony Burke, as well. So I think this is going to be the highest priority and highest risk as it now it is being considered as a national security issue.
Oh, yes, indeed, Amit. And if you could throw more light on how Israel has reacted, saying that Australia failed warnings while they have criticized this shootout. Also,
Yes.
in a way, blaming that this could have been prevented.
Yes. So I think for the last 1 or 2 years, Israel has been blaming Australia, particularly Albanese's leadership, that they have been a bit soft on, security issues, particularly issues affecting the Jewish community in Australia. There have been a number of cases of vandalism, including, the arson of local Jewish synagogue in Melbourne.
Le mec est
So
hyper courageux.
that criticism has been there, and I think this particular event with, when 9 innocent lives have been lost, Israel is kind of moving into blaming Albanese and the security agencies, the local Jewish community leaders have also blamed. If you look at the Twitter chain of events and response, Australian Jewish Association has blamed the local government of not taking the minor threat seriously, which has escalated into the bigger one, which we saw today at Bondi Beach.
Oh, yes, absolutely. And indeed horrifying, because you'll be able to explain to us, Amit, that while this is horrifying for Jews because their religious gathering was targeted and there were 2,000 of them, but even for
Yes.
those residing in Sydney by and large, because Bondi Beach is a very famous destination where a lot of the families on a Sunday are usually there to spend time, to like spend their weekend, and for such a place to be targeted by gunmen is
Yes.
very horrifying.
It is a horrifying tragedy at the moment because this is the first night of the Jewish holy festival of Chanukah. That means and it's a weekend as well. So more and more people are on Bondi Beach. But people who are not familiar with Sydney's suburb locations, Bondi is a Jewish
Hyper courageux.
suburb. So a lot of affluent Jewish, population lives there. So a lot of their family and friends would be there. And I wouldn't be surprised if people from Israel are also holidaying at the moment due to the holidays. And the weather is turning out really well in Sydney at the moment. This is the start of the Australian summer. So a lot of people would be going to the beach and other beaches as well. So this kind of creates a security threat, not just for Bondi, but also for other locations, especially Melbourne and, Gold Coast and other places where families especially, would be holidaying and planning for a weekend on the beach.
Oh, yes, absolutely. And more reports coming in of how about 19 people are injured. 13 of them have been taken to the hospital. These were injuries that were caused due to shattered glass and shrapnel. And also to understand that the police has said that about 50 to 100 shots that were fired in such time.
Yes, so a lot of people said that the initial firing that took, I think they used shotguns. If you can look at the make and model of the guns in the videos, so they just indiscriminately shot people, and some people felt it was the sound of the firework because sometimes during festivals people use sparkles and other fireworks, and that's why people couldn't react initially. And but once they started reacting, children, women, and men, they started
Le mec est
running
hyper
away
courageux.
from the scene, right? So there was kind of a bit
Oh.
chaotic if you can see the videos. But if you look at some of the other videos, you will see that how bystanders stepped in and saved the day. Basically, one tackled one of the shooters, and he got his weapon in hand, but he did not shoot the perpetrator. So this shows you the rule-abiding Sydney-siders, the hero, who can challenge such perps. Also, just to bring to your notice, the Australian National Imams Council and Council of Imams in New South Wales has already condemned on behalf of the Australian Muslim community.
Oh non,
As I
gros,
just
oh.
told you, that one of the perpetrators has been identified as a local Muslim youth, and investigations are still on. So the community has come out and urged everyone to remain vigilant, exercise caution, and support one another during this
Le mec est
challenging
hyper
time.
courageux.